Fantasy Rugby Draft Update.
Hi, my name is Bruce Wilkinson. Welcome back to the Aviva Premiership Fantasy Rugby Draft Edition. We've got 3 weeks on the bounce now after we've had a little bit of a break for the Internationals and LV Cup and Champions Cup. So it's a good time now to log into your team, check your lineup, see if you've got players on your bench you need to be starting and vice versa. See who's on the waiver wire, grab a few players that are now in the team that previously wouldn't be because of other players on international duty. If you're watching this on Twitter, it's probably about all you get right now. Twitter obviously limits the size we've got, so if you want to see this video in full where we chat a little bit about more players, then jump onto our Facebook page and you can see the full video. I wanted to talk about a few players that are coming back from injury and a few players that we've added. So 2 players coming back from injury, or rumoured to be coming back from injury, and one is certain. It's Tulupe Faletau being named in the Bath team to play Bristol on Friday night, so that's great news. And Manu Tuilagi has also been rumoured to be almost really back to fitness, whether it's this week or next week as well. So that's great news for managers that have actually sat on them the whole time and sitting on your bench. You can now bring them out of the garage and put them into your starting lineup. Fantastic news. If you find that there might be other managers asleep at the wheel, see if you can put a trade in for them. Hopefully they don't get thrust straight back into international duty. And they get time to get acclimated again to club rugby, get up to match fitness, and they don't go straight into that mould. So hopefully you have them for 3 weeks on the bounce now anyway. Let's see about Manu Tuilagi, I should add. But they're genuine difference makers, so they are worth having in your team and taking a little bit of time to see if you can either get them or not, or bring them off your bench. Other players that I wanted to talk about was a few that the guys have added to the player hub over the last few weeks. So one player is Jason Woodward. He's been named at 13 to play Bath on Friday night at the Rec. Interesting case in point for him. We usually think it's the other way around that's more preferable, where a midfielder goes and plays in the outside backs, as opposed to an outside back being listed to start in the midfield. So not the ideal scenario that we'd like, but still there's a potential that he may actually be kicking goals, because another player that we added was Shane Garrity, and he's out for 5 weeks, and that was as of... So that was 10 days ago, so he's still got a long way to go. So there is an outside chance that Jason Woodward kicks goals. Not 100% sure. They've got Jordan Williams there as well and a couple other players, but he's a candidate for going in there. He may be good enough without goal kicking by himself anyway, worth the roster spot, and probably starting this weekend, because those 6 bench spots are going to be really, really scarce over the next few weeks anyway. Another player that I'm not too sure we're expecting, a few managers have asked, is around Robbie Fruin. If there's any manager that knows exactly how to bring Robbie Fruin into the fold, or not, as the case may be, is Todd Blackadder and Taban Matson. They're well aware of his history in terms of health issues and where he needs to be in fitness. So we don't see him in the team this week. A little bit of a case in point, kind of hurry up and wait. I'm not sure you can do much about that. I'm not even sure you can carry him. It's a big asterisk, and it's a big kind of roll of the dice. And I think for a player that hopefully can get back to his best, he's barnstorming when he can, but for a player that hasn't done it for a while, I think, as I said, those 6 bench spots they're so valuable at this time of year. So he's taking up quite a big space on there, and he's a big lad, so he takes up quite a bit of space there. The other player that's come to Bath is Benny Tapua'i, or as Australians call him, Benny Taps. He's a player to just keep an eye out on. He had relative value when he was playing for the Force and Super Rugby and Reds as well. Again, a little bit of a twilight of his career, but he certainly still has a lot to add. So it'll be interesting how he pans out. Again, I don't see him anywhere near the team this week, so just a one to keep an eye on. But there are 2 other players that potentially might have impact, and for different reasons. So there's one player who's come back into the fold at quite good time, I suspect. He's just won the Ranfurly Shield and the ITM Cup for the greatest team in the world, Nathan Earl. So roughly about the same time as Chris Ashton's left the club. Sean Maitland's away, Alex Good's away as well. Alex Good's away as well. He could have value. I'm not sure whether or not he will come into the starting lineup or not. Now's probably a good time to kind of test whether that theory works or not, but I would certainly roster him. He's got upside, and any outside back that's on the end of that Saracens backline has got value, and most of the other players will be owned in your league, and he's only 2% owned, so it's worth checking. The significant upside there. He played really well when he was at Canterbury in New Zealand, and I suspect over time he will actually get there. He is a promising player, but he hasn't been given the chance up till now. Now maybe his chance. Now it doesn't matter if it isn't. At least you've had a chance. You've had a roll of dice. He's got significant upside. I think that's a decent play. One of the players, Reece Priestland. I think of the common knowledge at the start, or common theory at the start of the season, was that he's going to be backing up Dan Biggar at Wales. Didn't really pan out. So he's now back playing while the others are trotting out for Wales. He's back playing for Bath. So he is that 10. He is probably owned in most of your leagues. I actually picked him up in a really competitive league of mine, which is a little bit odd, but he's 92% owned. But if you do have him on your bench, do look to start him this weekend, and your eyes light up when you play Bristol as well, even though that it is, eyes light up when you're playing Bristol. He's only 62% started, so there's a few folks out there that need to promote him into the starting lineup. That's probably all we have in terms of player news. You can still join Fantasy Rugby Draft mid-season. You don't have to join from the start of the season. You still can find a bunch of mates and create a league and draft, and it's a hell of a lot of fun. So, as I say, we've got 3 weeks now up until we then have another decent break for the Christmas fixtures, and then after the Christmas New Year's fixtures, there's about a whole month there that we don't have any games at all, so in the Aviva Premiership. So if you want to speak to a few mates while you're having a few eggnogs over Christmas, see if you can get a league together. I've got a family league going. I've got a mates from university league. I've got a work league. There's all various forms of life, and let's just say it gets a bit fresh at Christmas time after the Super Rugby results, and there's a few shady dealings and trades. The Christmas turkey certainly gets a bit lively. But it's a good time to do it, because then in January you've got a long time to actually conduct that draft, and then at the start of February is when we start looking at Aviva Premiership. So just for this game week anyway, log into your team, check the teams that are coming through today on Friday, and good luck for the weekend. Enjoy the rugby. Ta-ra.